You've got money sitting in the bank. You know deep down it should be working harder than it is. You've thought about property more than once, and yet you still haven't done it. I want to talk to you today because I think I know exactly why. And it isn't the reason you'd expect. It isn't the money, it's 4 or 5 quiet fears that nobody ever says out loud. So let me say them out loud for you, and then let me show you how every single one of them disappears. I'm Kayley, the Yorkshire Property Sourcer. We help busy professionals build hands-off property portfolios. And this video is for one person in particular. The person who has done well, who has capital maybe sitting in savings, maybe building up in the current account. Someone who knows property is one of the most reliable ways to build real wealth in this country, and who has genuinely thought about doing it, but hasn't. If that's you, you are not lazy. You are not missing something obvious. You're stuck between a handful of very specific, very normal fears. I'm going to name each one, and I promise by the end, they'll feel a lot smaller than they do right now. Here's the first one, and it's the big one. You have the money, you just have absolutely no idea where to start. This is the one almost nobody admits because it feels silly. You're successful in your own field, you're used to knowing what you're doing, and yet with property, you're staring at a blank page and you don't even know where the first move is. Do you find the area first or the property? Do you need a mortgage agreed before you look? What about a company, a solicitor, an accountant? Where does it even begin? So it just doesn't. The money stays in the account, another year passes, and here's the quiet cost of that. The part that really stings. While you wait, that money is losing value. Sitting in a savings account earning almost nothing, quietly shrinking against the cost of everything else. Doing nothing feels safe. Is actually one of the most expensive decisions you can make. This isn't an ignorance problem, it's a starting problem. You don't need to become a property expert, you need someone to hand you the first step and then the next one. That is a very solvable thing. The second fear is bigger and more emotional. You're frightened of getting it badly wrong. And honestly, that's a completely rational fear because a mistake in property isn't a £100 mistake, it's potentially a £50,000 or a £100,000 mistake. The wrong town, the wrong street, even in the right town, paying too much, a property that won't rent, a tenant who doesn't pay and won't leave. You've heard the horror stories, everyone has. And the problem is, the fear of that one is irreversible. Expensive error is so strong that it stops you doing anything at all, which again quietly costs you because the safe option isn't safe, it's just slow. So here's what I'd say to that. The reason those mistakes happen is almost always the same thing: inexperience. Every one of those errors is the kind you make once, learn from, and never make again. The trouble is, in property, that first lesson can cost you thousands. Unless you're standing next to someone who has already made it, someone who has seen that street, run those numbers, and met that kind of tenant 100 times before, the mistake you're afraid of is one we've probably already made years ago and with our own money. That is the whole point of us. The third fear is the practical one that stops people even when they're brave enough to look. You genuinely cannot tell a good deal from a bad one. You can read a listing, of course you can, but can you look at a house at £120,000 and know with real confidence whether that's a brilliant buy or a quiet disaster? Most people can't. They've got no comparables, no feel for what that street is actually worth, no way of knowing if the price is fair, high, or a genuine bargain. And here's the part that's almost impossible to see from the outside. The best deals usually don't look like deals. They look ordinary, which makes them special if something is hidden. A seller who needs to sell quickly. A property that's already fallen through once or twice, often over something minor and cheap to fix. That spooked an ordinary buyer. Every time that happens, the seller gets more motivated and the price comes down. You would never know any of that from the advert. It is invisible unless you know exactly where to look for. And you're talking to the agents every single day. That's where the real discounts come from. To give you a real sense of it, we recently negotiated a purchase with over £17,500 of equity built in from day one. well below what it was genuinely worth, before you count a penny of the monthly profit or any future growth. That number isn't luck, it's knowing why your property is really available and buying exactly at the right moment. So let's say you push through all of that, you still hit a wall of things you've simply never done before. Could you pick up the phone to an estate agent and confidently negotiate the price down? Most people can't, so they pay the asking price because they don't know they're allowed not to. Have you got the time, honestly, to view 20 properties across half a dozen towns to find the one that stacks up between your job and your actual life? And what about the fact that the best returns are often a couple of 100 miles from where you live? That feels disqualifying on its own. Then there's the team you need and have no way of judging. A broker, a solicitor, a builder, a letting agent. 4 relationships built cold, and you won't know if any of them are any good until it's too late. And even after all that, once you finally own it, the work isn't done. Someone has to find a tenant, vet them properly, reference them, credit check them, make sure they're the kind of tenant who actually pays and looks after the property. Then manage it month after month. The repairs, the compliance, the safety certificates, all of it. There is a lot, and it's exactly why so many people with the money never begin. Not because they can't afford the property, but because they can't face everything wrapped around it. So here's what we actually do and why we exist. We take every single one of those fears off your plate. We start by working out exactly what you want and turning it into a clear set of numbers. A deal has to hit. Then we we assess the towns on the things that genuinely matter. The jobs, the transport, the demand. We're talking to agents daily, viewing properties for you, spotting the motivated sellers, working out why your property is really available. We negotiate the price hard on your behalf. With 20 years of sales experience behind it, we bring in the broker, the solicitor, the accountant, people who we already know and trust. We find the tenant, vet them to the standard as a rent guarantee insurer would demand, and then we manage the whole thing for you for the long term. But here's the part I care most about. We don't just do it for you, we guide you through it so you understand it. We've made the mistakes already on our own money, building our own portfolio. We know where the traps are because we fell into them first. So every step of the way, we're explaining, reassuring, telling you when something is genuinely a problem and when it's just a normal bump in the road. You get the asset, you get the education, and you don't have to make a single one of the expensive mistakes we already made for you. So let me bring this right back to where we started. The reason most people with money never invest in property, it was never the money, it was that they don't know where to start. They're frightened of an expensive mistake. They can't tell a good deal from a bad one. They haven't got the time or the team or the local knowledge. Every one of those is a real barrier, and every one of them is a barrier we remove. That's the whole job. We turn something that feels overwhelming and risky into something calm, hands-off and done properly. From the first conversation to the tenant paying rent every month. If any of those sounded like you, if you felt even one of those fears, I've put together a free investor pack that walks you through exactly how we do it. The towns, the numbers, the process of it all. The link is in the description below. This is Kayley, the Yorkshire Property Sourcer, helping you invest in property the right way. I'll see you in the next video.